Good morning, YouTube. We have a Brotherhood the Fire Fist deck profile. This is a bit different than the way most people play it, but I hope you enjoy it, because I sure as cuss do. Starting out with our monsters, I do run two Brotherhood the Fire Fist Swallow. I get asked all the time, why do you run two Swallow? Why do you run it in general? I like him because it prevents your opponent from targeting any of your Beast Warriors, which throws him to a bind most of the time. I don't usually use his first effect, which lets you special summon him by tributing Fire Formation cards, but the setting of the trap card is really crucial to the way I run this deck. And the prevention of targeting helps you out tremendously. Like if they want to compulse, nope, too bad, sorry, sad day. Next I run two Brotherhood the Fire Fist Dragon. I like him for his special summon ability, but mostly I like him for his first effect, is to be able to set a Fire Formation trap card. Again, I like the trap cards. And he's the highest attack of any of the regular 4-star monsters. Next we run three Brotherhood the Fire Fist Bear. I mean, it's pretty understandable why you run three. I mean, he's one of the coolest cards ever. I mean, just look at that. Yeah. Next we run three Gorilla. That's a bit overkill. I don't run any MSTs in this deck. Oh no, no MSTs. Anyway, so I run three Gorillas. It's never really let me down and been too cloggy. I'd probably eventually take one out, so replace it with like a Wolf Bark or something. But for right now, I really like it the way it is. Next we run one Caribou. Now this is a very interesting card. I like it. He's a 2000 defender, which first off is really good in terms of just regular defense, but if he's destroyed by a card effect, you get a special summon of Brotherhood the Fire Fist monster from your deck. Now that is crucial. I mean, most people don't like it because it's too slow, but it's pretty darn cool for that same effect. And if it's synchroed, you can set a Fire Formation spell card from your deck. Next we run two of the Boar. Now this card does relatively the same thing as Caribou, except he's a tuner, has less defense, but it's if he's destroyed by battle, which usually get his effect off a lot more. And you'll see more while I run two for the synchro aspect later on. Next, for the 3-axis portion, I run two Brotherhood the Fire Fist Rooster, kind of self-explanatory there. Run Brotherhood the Fire Fist Spirit, because that's all you can. One Leopard. Now I like Leopard, and I used to not use him at all, but I don't like him for the aspect that you have to tribute him. You lose your normal summon. Granted, it does get you your card immediately, but he's just a little too risky in my opinion. Now, saying that, I do run a Brotherhood Fire Fist Hawk and Wolf. Hawk I usually use to get out, or with Horse Prince to get that 500 extra boost, but if you, in terms of the setting aspect that I like to do in this deck, he's good for getting out your spell card in general. Now Wolf I like because if you make it so that he's not attacked by any means, or if he survives, you get a spell and a trap card, and he has 19 on defense, which is pretty darn good. Rounding up our monsters, I know 20 count monsters is kind of scary. We do run one Blaster, of course. Next, for our spells, we run three Tenki, and then that's understandable. Two Tensu, also pretty standard. Two Yokos. I like this because what you can do with it is that you can pitch your Rooster or your Leopard or whatever, and use it to get your spirit plays off. You're destroying your opponent's monsters. Like even if it's you ran out of your bears and stuff like that, this still works pretty nicely for that aspect, and it's another Fire Formation card to tribute. And two Gyokkous. Now I don't run the MSTs, and this really helps make up for that. And the only two generic spells I run is the Swords of Ruling Light and a Dark Hole. I know Swords a little bit sacky and stally, but especially like if you're wanting to go for your wolf plays, or if you're wanting to just keep the pressure away from you so you can build up for your beatdown aspect that I'm trying to go for with this deck, it works great. And then Dark Hole just because. Moving on to our traps, we run three Tensen. Now I love this card because it beefs up your monster so much, and nobody's expecting this in your back row, which is quite strange, but it really helps a lot. And we also run two Tenkens. Now this is a lifesaver. I don't know how many times this card has saved my bacon. And for our regular trap cards, we run two Mirror Force, one Bottomless, one Compulsory, one Dark Bribe, and Pinpoint Guard. Now, for the longest time, I didn't have a Coach Soldier Wolfbark, so I wanted to try and find a way to get my monsters back from the graveyard. And so I found Pinpoint Guard. I used it in a completely different deck, and I was like, well, let's try it in here. And it works out wonderfully. Now, what really helps is the fact that your monsters can't be destroyed by battle or card effects to turn this card has gone off. Now, while it's not as quick as Coach Soldier Wolfbark, you can still set up your plays, and it gives you defense, especially if your opponent's attacking you, like let's say they get their Pendulum summon out, and they destroy your one monster. You activate this, your life points are safe for the rest of that turn. Now, I know that's a 42 card deck. I really wanted to throw in Moltres. I mean, it's really probably one of the biggest hitters in any Fire Fist deck. I just couldn't get enough room to put him in there. Moving on to our extra deck, we have one Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Lion Emperor, one Cardinal, two Tiger Kings, two Horse Prince, and one Kirin. Now, obviously, most of the time you're going to be going for your Horse Princes and your Tiger Kings. Cardinal, he's a fantastic monster, completely underrated. A Lion Emperor is the same way as well, but usually when you have your 3 stars, you're going to be going for your Horse Princes. And Kirin, I don't really run him, as you'll see later on. There's a better option than to run him, but he's still not that bad if you need another. For other synchros, we run one Celestial Wolf Lord, Blue Cyrus, which I'd probably, of course, would replace if I had a Vulcan the Divine. Black Rose Dragon, because most people don't realize you can actually run these with Fire Fists, and I do. One Laval Stennen. Now, this is if your Black Rose Dragon isn't going to do you darn good at all. He's a 2700 beater, which isn't that bad at all. And of course a Crimson Blader. I feel like this card will be extremely important in the upcoming metas because it hates on Cliffords, it hates on Dolls, it hates on so many different things. And I feel like this card is underrated, and I'm probably going to bump him up to 2. If I were to actually competitively play, I'd probably take out Kirin and put in another Crimson Blader. And to wrap out our extra deck, we have a Zenmaines, GaGaGa Cowboy, Exciton Knight, and Silent Honor Arc. Well, that'll about wrap it up for this Brotherhood of the Fire Fist deck profile. I've been running them since Cosmo Blazer, and I've really liked them. I know most people will disagree with me in the way that I have this set up, and it's not as quick enough, but I like it because it's more of a beatdown build. Now, I've tested this deck too, and I was going to use this in a tournament, and it was doing well against Worms, it was doing well against Cliffords, Shadalls, it was pulling its own. But what it does is it drains your mind. Because you have to think a lot about your plays, because you having a 20 monster lineup, not even including Moltres, your plays are so much more open than a generic Fire Fist deck where you're like, okay, go for Wolfbark Bear, Tiger King, block your opponent's plays. This deck leaves you with so many more options, in my opinion, and I just feel that with a little bit of tweaking, it can become a fantastic deck. And Tiger King is really going to help out, hopefully, in this upcoming format, and Crimson Blader as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoy my deck, and I know you'll probably rip it apart, but I like it the way it is, and just throw your suggestions in there anyway. Thanks, and have a great day.